Hey, my name is Bram. Welcome to the Flooring CEO podcast. I'm the co-founder of Floor Launch, and we help flooring companies get more jobs through digital marketing in the United States. And today I want to talk to you about how to build a flooring business that doesn't need you. All right. And the question you can actually ask yourself is that if you took 2 weeks off, right? So I mean completely off, so no phone, no email, would your flooring business actually survive? Right. And for, I would say 90%, maybe 95% of flooring business owners that I talk to, the honest answer is no, right? The business will basically collapse in just a matter of a few days. And that's not an actual business, that's an actual well-paid job where you're still working inside the company instead of always working on the company, right? Today I want to talk to you about how to actually build a flooring business that doesn't need you to run every day. And how you can actually go from a job towards becoming a business owner, right? So, first of all, I want to talk about why doesn't everyone just delegate everything and actually build a business, right? And it's not always just financially, right? So there's a lot of times also mental models where this actually gets stuck, right? Because the first one is control. So a lot of times owners that I speak to, they have a certain story in their mind, is that where they say like, no one can sell like I do, or no one can basically do better than I do, right? And the problem with that is that you will always stay stuck in this, because even if that would be true, then if you're so good at this thing, that would also mean that you'll be very good at teaching the thing as well. And imagine someone basically setting flooring the whole day, every day, 6 days a week. Do you think that someone that would dedicate their whole life and all of their time, full time, on this thing and being coached by AKA you, which is the best in this business, do you think it will be possible that they might become better than you at one point if they would do it full time? That's a question I would ask. And I think everyone knows the answer to that question, and the answer is yes, right? The second one is actually ego. This is actually a very interesting one. So basically people want to feel needed inside of their business. It almost feels like they want to be able to, save the company, or like that basically that they're still needed inside of their business. That almost gives this sense of like worthiness, because right now, like everyone needs them, they're asking questions to them, and they can be busy, and they can call them up and help all of the people. But at one point, if you really want to build a business, this is not the identity and the worldview that's actually going to serve you to get you to the next level, right? So a lot of times I also say inside of our business, like what got us to this level isn't what is going to get us to the next level, right? Because at one point you need a new identity. You need to actually ask yourself, okay, who do I need to be, and how does my company need to look like to actually go to the next level, right? And then the third reason is actually a bad past experience, right? So let's say you've worked with a marketing agency, and they sucked, right? Didn't get any leads, or maybe shit leads, and then you just say like, okay, I'm never gonna work with a marketing agency before, right? And this whole one-time experience just hurts your business for the long term, right? And it's like they even do, like this marketing company obviously does a damage of not delivering leads, but then also like it just hurts your whole identity, your worldview, to never work or never reach out to another marketing company again, just because you think like, they're all shit. And honestly, like, I mean, for example, if you would go on a date when you were like 16 and then the date didn't turn out very well, it would just be saying like, okay, now I'll just never date again, right? I'll just never, find a new woman again. It's like, it doesn't serve you in your life. And I think it's all about finding the right people and just having a new good experience, and also seeing that as a skill to also being able to identify which are the right companies to work with, or the right vendors, or the right salespeople to hire. And I think that's a big thing to actually build a business that runs without you. So basically every flooring CEO that I've spoken to that runs like a company to $5 million and beyond, has gone through exactly these three things. They basically had just a different worldview on those things, right? Then the second part I want to go into, right, is like which order should you actually delegate your flooring business in, right? Like which things do you start, right? Obviously, you're starting out, like you're doing everything yourself. You're basically wearing all the hats. So I read the book called E-Myth, and it's all about creating an organizational structure of how your organization is going to look like whenever you get to the desired goal that you have. So let's say your goal is to get to $5 million in annual sales for your flooring retail showroom. Then what you can do is you can build an organizational chart where you have all the different positions on what you think you actually need in terms of people to be able to run the business like that. And in the beginning, basically what you do is every position that you have, you basically put your own name under it. Because in the beginning, you're going to be basically every department yourself, right? That's why people get so stuck in the beginning, because like you have to do everything yourself. You have to learn all of these different skills in order for it to actually make it work before you can actually start outsourcing it, right? So I think the order in which you can delegate, here comes. So the first thing that you can actually do is basically everything that doesn't really require judgment, right? So it means answering leads, scheduling them, customer service follow-up, basic admin, basically just like what a basic call center or like virtual assistant can handle. By the way, if you look for help, like that's exactly what we do as well at Floorline. So like we help with like following up with all of your leads, making sure everything gets scheduled, get qualified, and reschedule whatsoever. Like we take care of that for you. The second thing is actually marketing, right? So think about your website, your SEO on the website, actually making sure SEO is just simply just taking actions on your website to make it rank higher, so more people will find you if they search on Google, right? That's all it is. And then also your advertising, right? Like also recording content in your showroom, right? Like actually having videographers out there to record content. By the way, we are a marketing company. We also do all of that for you. We send out a videographer to your showroom to record real ads in person. We also do the website. We do the full call center. And we're working on a flooring operations system right now as well. So if you want to get a full stack flooring marketing and operating system, just reach out to us. But the third one that you can actually do is you delegate. So first one is anything that doesn't require your judgment. So most of the times it's like just a basic call center would help. Second one is actually the marketing side, right? To really scale up the numbers, because you're going to need leads to actually grow. The third one is going to be operations, right? So basically either hiring an operations manager or an installation manager, basically being able to not having to manage all of the projects and all of the jobs yourself anymore, that someone else can do all of the quality control, can do all of the communication with the clients, scheduling the actual crews, making sure they get paid, all of that operations. And the fourth one, which a lot of times the owners doesn't actually let go of, is actually all of the sales, right? So estimating, measuring, but basically at one point you're going to need salespeople to just run this whole thing on your own. And I've seen some business owners actually change up. This really depends on where your skills lay. Because let's say you're really good at, so maybe you're not that good at actually sales, then maybe you should hire salespeople before you actually start hiring an ops manager. But I would say that being able to sell inside of your flooring business and being able to build out that process should be one of your biggest priorities in the beginning as a flooring business owner. And then at one point you want to be so good at it that you can actually outsource that properly and build out a system for that. Like we work, for example, with Jerry Levinson that builds out a system to basically sell more jobs inside of the home. Like I would highly suggest also having someone in your corner to also build out the sales process properly, right? And the fifth one is the last one, is basically the leadership team. So that means at one point you're going to hire people that are going to manage those people that I just discussed, right? basically your store manager or COO or whatever your kind of name you want to put towards that. Basically, when you hire someone who manages other people for you, right? And that moment is basically when you can start really like taking the fruits of building a business, and that you're not inside of the operation anymore. And that's also the moment that you're going to be able to focus in and dial into all of the biggest bottlenecks inside of your business, and being able to look at your business from like a bird's eye view to actually see, okay, where is the biggest potential still to improve our business. And I think at this point, what you can always stay doing, I think a little hack that I wanted to give you is do a time study. So whenever you're still busy and you feel like you're just too busy all the time, just do a time study on basically either tracking everything inside your Google Calendar, which I personally do that myself, or you can also like just write down every half an hour on what you did for the last half hour to figure out where you're spending your time for a whole week. And then after that week, you can look at all of the time that you spent and then like figure out to if it was actually high leverage what you were doing or not, right? So then the last part I want to talk about is like how to actually delegate these without people always coming back with questions, right? Because obviously you have to outsource it properly. So I think what we have done personally, and I think we work very, very well, is by taking a course software. So for example, like school.com, you can get like a account for like $9 a month. And basically building out a module for each position you have inside the company, and then build out all of the different processes. So a process could be for a salesperson is how to talk to a lead, right? Like you have the sales script, like on the phone. Then you have how to book them in as an appointment in your CRM. Then how to start the sales process already over the phone, right? So that might be like, hey, you already want to like get a whole needs analysis over the phone. Then you make a whole document for the actual sales consultation, right? Like how does actual sales consultation look like? What do you have to do? How do you make sure you actually start selling those people? And what you do is like you create like a Google Doc, and also you create a video with like Loom or like whatever other softwares that are out there, where you talk over those docs. And whenever you get a new person that comes into your business, you can actually let them go through the whole training course, and then also revert back to that training course every time you feel like they're slacking on any kind of those things, right? And you can also keep them accountable and be like, hey, so these are our documents, these are SOPs, or standard operating procedures, and then these are all of the processes you actually have to follow. And if you have these SOPs for each position, over time, you will just start improving those whenever you feel like, hey, you need to improve this process. And then it's very easy to train the whole team on there, and also have multiple people that are basically learning these things. If you have this online course, and this will also centralize all the communication and information inside the business, because a lot of times there's a lot of transferring from skills from like one mouth to other mouth, but now you're actually documenting it inside of a course, and you can give it to your current team, but also give it to new people that come in as well. And then you're able to fix those SOPs whenever you find a new bottleneck. All right. So basically what happens if you do all of these things, right? Like you outsourced everything, you built the business. There's a few things that actually happen, right? First thing is you stop being the bottleneck. So your business is not going to be dependent on you anymore to actually grow. Because there will be people in place, there will be leadership in place that will also think for themselves and try to figure out how can we actually improve this. And then second of all, your business gets more valuable. So if you want to start actually selling this business, you will showcase to potential buyers that they can just buy this business and will grow without you still being the owner, right? And the third one is actually your life changes as well, because you can still make money, you can still run a great business, You can take a real vacation. You can be present with your family. Take the actual freedom of the business that you were, first of all, probably like beginning the business. Like you wanted to have freedom, time freedom, location freedom, money freedom, and then the fun part actually comes, and this is my personal one. If you build a business like that, you have people in place. What I think is the most fun part is at one point you can actually become the visionary for the company, and all you have to do is actually put the right systems or right people in place, and there's not necessarily a need for you to work in the business, but you can always work on the business to grow it even further, open up more locations, strategize. And honestly, you can have a lot of fun because at one point, there's not going to be much stress for you to actually work in the business, but it's all about you pushing new projects forward, thinking about new things, and just asking yourself, okay, what would 10x the business? This is a little question I personally ask myself every time to change your thinking. And you can work on like big projects without a lot of stress and just gets a whole lot more fun. So if that was helpful, please subscribe to this channel or podcast, whatever your platform you're listening or watching this at, and I'll see you in the next one. So have a great day. Bye-bye. Good luck with that.